Good afternoon and welcome to 3 o'clock with SOC. My name is Maria. I'm a youth coordinator at SOC and I will be your host for today. Just give me a second while I welcome our Spanish-speaking guests. Muy buenas tardes y bienvenidos a 3 en punto con SOC. Mi nombre es María, soy la coordinadora del grupo de jóvenes con SOC. Hoy nuestro programa es en inglés, pero ofrecemos traducciones al español. Para escuchar la traducción puede llamar al número que aparece en la pantalla, que es 646-749-3122 y la contraseña es 779-328-221. I'd like to share a disclaimer that the views and opinions shared today do not necessarily reflect those of SOC, and remind you all that you can access all of our past episodes on the SOC Facebook page. So now it's time for our guest segment. Today we will show you a clip of the interview that SOC and other organizations conducted for the MPS school board candidates. We will show you the interview with the candidate for SOC's District Area 6, who is Xela Garcia. Just 1 second while we get this going. I believe you guys aren't able to listen to it, so just give us 1 second. I believe you still can't hear anything, so I'm going to try it once with my computer and see if that works.
Tonight. We are thrilled to be welcoming our individual candidate for District 6 tonight, as well as the contested election in District 4. And I'm Jenny with Schools and Communities United. I just want to remind everybody, due to the size of this call, this Zoom, it would be great if everybody stayed on mute unless invited to unmute. And we also reserve the right to discharge anybody from the meeting who proves to be disruptive, but we know that won't happen. And without any further ado, I would like to kick it to Juan.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. My name is Juan Samaripa, and I'm a youth organizer with the Southside Organizing Center. On behalf of Schools and Communities United, Leaders Igniting Transformation, Southside Organizing Center, Hmong American Women's Association, African American Roundtable, Black Leaders, Organizing for Change, the American Civil Liberties Association Youth Organizers, and Parents for Public Schools of Milwaukee, I welcome you all here today, candidates and viewers. Every election matters, and local elections impact our day-to-day lives more so than the big national elections. Milwaukee has 4 school board seats up for election on the April 6th ballot. Our public schools are the heart of our communities and the cornerstones of democracy. We owe it to the students and the community to not only envision the school and the communities children deserve, but to see them through to reality. Our format today will be introductions, alternating questions from partnered organizations, and closing remarks. Each response will be timed, and we apologize in advance. We will be cutting off responses if time expires. If there is time left at the end, we may be able to take questions from the audience. Again, thank you for joining us today. Welcome, Xela Garcia. Please take the next 2 minutes to introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. Thank you for all the organizations that put this together. Again, my name is Xela Garcia, and I am the candidate that is currently running uncontested for District 6 for a seat in the Milwaukee Public Schools Board of Directors. You know, I was born in Mexico and grew up here in Milwaukee, so my roots within my district are lifelong. I am a proud alumni of Milwaukee Public Schools, having attended Allen Field, Samuel Morse Middle School, and Rufus King High School. I currently serve as the executive director at Walker's Point Center for the Arts, where I've had the privilege of working with youth and community folks to really look at ways that we can make this world better through creativity and art. My experience in leadership runs back, about 20 years as an active student in high school, through college, and now in my current involvement in the community, where I've served on multiple boards and advisory committees for different organizations that really look at improving the quality of life for folks in our community. So thank you for having me here today.
Our first question this evening comes from SOC.
Hi, my name is Ariana and I'm a SOC organizer from, I'm a youth organizer from SOC, and my question is, refugee and immigrant students face additional challenges regarding limited language access and cultural competencies provided by their schools. Additionally, there was a complaint filed against NPS alleging that the district was discriminating against Hispanic English language learners by failing to provide appropriately trained staff, adequate services, and comparable curriculums for this program. How do you propose to address this?
Well, I think that, as a candidate within a district where there's a lot of schools that have multilingual and bilingual education programs, like I mentioned earlier, I'm also a product of the bilingual education program here in MPS. So I have experienced the benefits of what a program that's properly implemented, properly staffed can result in. And the fact that we are right now facing a crisis in teacher recruitment as well as teacher retention, I think that's one of the major things that, as a board member, I will begin to address. I know that MPS within the last couple of years has funded an initiative specifically within the Grow Your Own initiative, where they're specifically looking to train and grow paraprofessionals that are currently working in bilingual education programs to train them, to get them certified to become teachers. And I think this is really important because not only are we looking to empower the folks that have already committed to the youth within our district, but it's also providing an opportunity for them within, career development. I think that when we look at the demographic composition of the students within our district, and specifically within District 6, we see that it's really, really important to have teachers that are culturally congruent with the families and the students that they serve. I think that in my district, there's, specifically looking at the rich history of what bilingual education has been. Milwaukee has been leading in the forefront of what that can look like. And I think that it's time that we go above what is demanded by law, invest in teachers to be able to adequately train them, and most importantly, provide the support to breathe life into the programs that, benefited me greatly and allowing me the opportunity to be bilingual professional.
Thank you. The next question is posed by Block.
Good afternoon. My name is Kiva Guy, and I'm from Block, Black Leaders Organizing for Communities, and I am glad that we are here. My question is, what safety measures do you firmly believe we have in place to ensure children will be safe from contracting COVID-19 within the schools?
Thank you for the question, Kavia. I think that when we're looking at COVID-19 response, I think that as a district, we are being supported through the state support to vaccinate educators. I think that that's step number one in ensuring that vaccination is available for folks who have direct contact with students, then prioritizing that out into, folks that work in those buildings. I also think that enough PPE should be provided for families. When we're analyzing the cleaning measures, I think that needs to be robust, and each school building needs to take into account what that can look like for, their preparations to ensure that, communal areas are thoroughly cleaned, so that we can try to mitigate, the transmission of COVID-19. But I think that one of the major challenges that we're going to have to confront is, how do we adequately provide, the 6 feet distancing within the classroom setting. So I think that that's something that, the board is going to have to work with administration to really look at how that can be done. I as someone who believes in science and someone who is looking for directives, not only from the CDC, but from the, Wisconsin State Health Department, really looking at what that, recommendations can be, I think is going to help drive a lot of the things that we have to have in place in order to ensure that our communities are least impacted. And this is really important because as we see, our communities are living through dual pandemic of not only COVID-19, but racism. So the populations within the Milwaukee School District have been heavily hit with the disproportionality. I think that has really come to light. So I think that my role as a school board member is really centering the safety of students and families, and helping find ways that we can address, the multiple traumas that we have all been living through as, people of color.
Thank you for that response. And I would like to queue up Lit with the next question.
Good afternoon. My name is Jalen. I'm here with Leaders Uniting Transformation, pronouns he, him, his. The screen just went black. I can't see the question.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I can't see the screen. It went black.
Okay, that's fine. I'll just read it for you. So it says, in June of 2020, Director Phillips and Taylor introduced a resolution to end the remaining contracts between MPD and MPS. The resolution also called on the district to lobby the state to eliminate the TAB statute and for metal detectors to receive no further maintenance. Do you fully support this resolution? What is your plan to ensure that this resolution is actually carried out and in practice, and that we continue to work towards the decriminalization of BIPOC students?
Thank you, Jalen, and everyone for the question. I think that the root of this is really, as folks in our community coming to terms with the friction of what, when we talk about marginalized identities and oppression, unfortunately, the police department has really been part in a lot of the trauma that has disproportionately affected specifically, Black and brown males in our city. So I absolutely support, completely and fully support the resolution to cut ties with the Milwaukee Police Department. I think that when we're analyzing the issue of metal detectors, as someone who, again, I went to Rufus King High School, and metal detectors were not necessarily a part of our daily, going into class routine, but it was sporadic. And I do remember that feeling of being scared. And I think that a lot of the times these type of initiatives are a result of folks who don't necessarily understand the direct or indirect implications of what policies can result in. I think that my priority as a board of director is really to try to find ways to lessen the trauma that unfortunately our student populations have already, been exposed to in many ways and forms, within their communities. And one thing to say here too is that, when we're analyzing ways to look at ways to protect safety, I think that's a very loaded question, loaded term that's many ways masks the fear and racism of against Black and brown males. And I think that it's important for us to, address that within the school district. When we look at, anti-racist training for staff, I'm very much pro doing that. And I think that it's important to look at ways that aren't criminalizing our students, but that are really empowering them and giving them the confidence and the trust, that they can carry out, the direction of their life, and a school environment should really be nurturing that and not further supporting the oppression that we see our youth bombarded with.
So that is all we're going to show. There were in total 5 questions, but you can access the rest of the interview on our on the YouTube page, on the comments under here. So I'll just show it real quick. So if you go on the comments, you'll be able to see the link to the YouTube page where you can access the full interview. Next, I would like to take the opportunity to give a shout out to our SOC youth, especially Juan and Isaiah, who won 2nd and 3rd place in a scholarship contest. And then they also have a few words for us.
Hi everyone, my name is Juan, and I won 2nd place in the Optimist Club essay contest.
Hi, my name is Isaiah, and I came in 3rd.
The prompt for the contest was reaching your dreams by choosing optimism. In my essay, I wrote about my mom, who inspires me to be optimistic, and how being optimistic is going to help me achieve my goals.
In my essay, I talked about a major struggle that me and my family had in 2013. My family and I had got evicted from our old house because our landlord stopped paying the bills, which means he didn't have the house no more. So we were looking for a house for a while. My tia found one and showed it to my mom, and now we're living with a good and caring, understanding landlord. And that's all that matters now. Thanks to this experience, I remain optimistic and I have a better understanding of today's society. Thank you.
Thank you and have a good rest of your day. Hi everyone, my name.
Thank you to Juan and Isaiah for that. Also, I would like to give a special shout out to Isaiah because the SOC youth and we did a 30-day challenge, and Isaiah's challenge was to get his English grades up. And not only did he do that, he went up 2 letter grades, but he also surpassed his goal for his GPA and went above a 4.0. So shout out to Isaiah for keeping up the good work, and for all of our SOC youth who are working really hard every day that they meet with us. So next up, I will like to go ahead and introduce the coronavirus update, which is a video on the COVID vaccine.
Hi, everybody. We're here with Doctora Arana with us today from 16th Street Clinic to talk about different topics relating to the COVID-19 vaccine. So can you just go ahead and talk to us about your experience taking the COVID-19 vaccine?
Sure. Thank you for inviting me today. I already completed both dose 1 and dose 2 of the Pfizer vaccine. And with the first vaccine, I only had that sore muscle on that area where we got the injection. And that's very common to any vaccines. I don't think that was out of the ordinary. And 3 weeks after that, I got the second dose. And as you have heard probably, some people get a little bit more reaction with the second dose, what we call a normal response from your immune system. you get the second dose, and some people have just the sore muscle, but others, as I did, can get a little bit of chills or headache the day after the vaccine. Nothing that would stop me from working or doing my daily activities. If someone has fever, it's okay to take a dose of acetaminophen or Tylenol, but most people don't need to take anything.
Great. And can you explain a little bit about why the vaccine has to be administered in 2 doses? Why are there 2 different shots?
Yes, and that applies to some vaccines, not to all of them. As you probably have heard, Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, they all have recommended 2 doses. And the first dose helps your immune system to learn about the spike protein and how to block the function of the spike protein of the coronavirus. The second shot brings more like an awareness for your immune system. The goal is to create some kind of memory in your immune system that we think is going to last at least a year or more. So if you get infected, your immune system has strong memory. So the first one is kind of training for your immune system, and the second one is a booster to really make sure that your immune system remembers how to fight and block the spike protein.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I really like that way of putting it. It's training and then the real go. I like that. And so we also understand that health professionals are receiving their COVID vaccines right now as we speak. And has everyone or those who wanted to at the 16th Street Clinic, have they been vaccinated, and has everyone reacted well to it?
Yes, basically all of us are vaccinated. That we still have a group that is waiting for the date where they are due for the second dose. And everyone has been vaccinated. Very few exceptions felt a little bit of headache, malaise the day after the second dose, but no one that had to miss work or had any serious adverse effects. We didn't have any allergic reactions here. We are currently vaccinating all patients 65 and older. And also, I know that Children's Hospital has started vaccinating caregivers of children with special needs, children that are bound to wheelchair and need a ventilator or has tracheostomies, really complex medically. So at this point, those caregivers are getting vaccinated, and next will be children 16 and older that have very complex medical conditions.
Great. Thank you for sharing all that information and for being with us today, and we'll have you on another time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that coronavirus update. Next up, we'll share some community resources for you. So I would like to point out that the Earn and Learn summer program applications are now open and available on the website, which I will show you right now. 1 second. So you can see here some information on the Earn and Learn Summer Youth Employment Program that SOC is participating in. So if you know any youth from ages 14 to 24 years old who would be interested in participating, you can send them the link to this, or also send them our email so that they can contact us and we can proceed from there. So the email for SOC is soc@socmilwaukee.org. And then the next community resource that we have for you is a quick flyer that Alan will show right now on the District 2 Crime and Safety meeting coming up. So the guest speaker will be Crystal Tinajero Rodriguez. She's a bilingual intake specialist at the UMO's Latina Resource Center. So she will be the guest for the Crime and Safety meeting for District 2 that takes place Wednesday, March 17th. And it is through Facebook Live at 6 p.m. Next up is just some reminders of what's coming up for the week at 3 o'clock with SOC. So Wednesday, There's Benjamin Sanchez from the Department of the City of Milwaukee Development. Sorry. Thursday is Hisham Zaibak, the founder of Hyatt Pharmacy. And then Friday is Jean Karachi, the executive director of Benedict Center. So that's all for today's forum. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we will conclude with our survey promo video.
Has this live forum been informative and useful to you? What part of the forum could be improved or changed to make it better? Please take a quick survey that's located in the comments section so that we can keep 3 o'clock with SOC going for residents. Thank you for tuning in.